going to happen is I got Steve calling in to do like an impromptu podcast. I see all these people saying they're bored. I'm at home. I'm bored. No, I have nothing to do. Good for you. Do something fucking productive with yourself. Seriously. What I'm doing is I started my podcast. I shot a couple of episodes in the hospital talking about my stay at the hospital and what happened to me. So those are going to be after this. They were actually supposed to be the first two parts of my podcast, but I already did one last week, and I'm doing this one with Steve, and we're just going to shoot the shit and tell some stories. You won't have to look at this face once we start doing the podcast. I'll put pictures and videos over the whole thing. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll get to see some cool images and some cool little videos and things like that while we tell stories. And hopefully some of the stories that him and I share, I'll have videos and pictures for. But he's going to call me up. He was supposed to call me, didn't call me. I texted him, I called him, and he's like, I'm doing laundry, give me 5 minutes. So let Steve do his fucking laundry while I introduce this podcast. So this will be podcast number 1. The hospital ones. Oh, there he goes. There's Steve. I'm going to put him on speaker. Steve?
Yo.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you. We're rolling. Ha 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 ha. This is like so professional, except I'm sitting on a bed in my mom's room.
All right.
I mean, futon. Healing.
Well, you shouldn't be standing, so that's fine.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to put any weight on there. So I'm stuck here, quarantined on my mom's futon in her office. And I could only shoot one direction because the other 2.5 walls have family pictures. So it's stupid because like the first podcast I actually did when I recorded it, I looked and I'm like, dude, there's like family pictures everywhere. I can't use this one, so I redid it. But whatever.
Technically, more podcasts. I know. I mean, you do the video also, but they're more audio than anything. So
yeah, that's true. But some people like to look at this, at my face. So not many, but there's like probably
no. We know the ones that do, and usually they have lots of issues.
Thanks. Jeez, so you're saying anybody who's got issues is actually attracted to me? And if they don't have issues, they're not?
That's pretty much been proven, I think.
Yeah, I guess so.
Wow, that's be honest. You said be honest.
You know what the fucked up thing is? You saying that, probably some of those people are going to be listening to this, and they're like, that motherfucking... Okay, before we go on, Steve, you also go by Spifotola. Do you want to tell a story why you go by Spifotola?
Sorry, say that again?
Do you want to tell us why you go by Spifotola as well, besides Steve?
Yeah, it was, my name, Photo, F-O-T-O-L-A. And years ago, we were going to do a shoot, and Jessie Andrews, who had to be just, 19, 20 at that time?
I think she turned 17 like the week before.
Yeah. That may be some other girls you shot, but...
Hey! No.
I remember, she was on set, I think it was for Tom Byron Pictures, whatever, and, so her and I are talking, and, and then she, I'm like, hi, I'm so-and-so, and she's like, oh, hi, I'm Jessie, I think it was Jessie's World on Instagram. I'm like, I know who you are. I'm like, we've spoken, multiple times on Instagram. I'm so-and-so, and she's like, oh, my God. She goes, this whole time I was thinking, who's this Spifotola guy? So she took all the letters and combined them into one word, and that became funny. And Ivan was actually, sitting right there, and we thought it was funny, and that's how that became, because no one can pronounce it.
Well, my joke after that was that was your given African name, Spifotola. But,
yeah.
The funny thing is, I was actually reading an article about Tori Spelling recently. This dumbass. She got bashed all over, social media because she posted a picture of her little daughter who had a handkerchief wrapped around her head, and she took Cheez-Its or Cheetos, whatever they are, and she put them on her fingers like fingernails. So she's got this handkerchief over her head, and she got these long orange fingernails. And Tori Spelling says, "Here's my," and she used some African name, and it was just Did Tori Spelling really just do that?
It's so weird, like the things you can and can't do, and how certain people perceive things.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, someone has been offended by something forever, since the beginning of time, you know? And we can make any joke we want, but someone was somehow offended by something.
Yeah.
And I'd say the last 15, 20 years, we've gotten so sensitive out of, you know, not offending people that, I mean, it's now become a joke. Comedians can't say anything. I mean, just everyone's offended. And the reality is, I mean, that's the real world. You're going to be offended by something.
Right, yeah, but businesses shouldn't change their business practices because 3 people get offended by something. That's right.
That's the whole thing, because businesses are the problem is they're employing people who are, you know, younger, and they're like, who are so afraid to offend anyone, and they're actually, you know, being run by that, and they're making decisions based on, you know, let's say 100 or I don't care, 1,000 loud voices on Twitter. Like, who cares? Again, like, those people have no lives. If you have time to constantly be offended, you have no life. Like,
yeah.
what the hell are you doing?
You're right, Steve. Anybody who's on Twitter all the time and then copies and pastes tweets and texts them to their friends, they have no life. You're absolutely right. By the way, I'm talking about Steve.
Memes are safe. Memes are there to entertain, motherfucker.
Ah, okay, whatever. Steve sends me a lot of this. He used to send to me when I was in the hospital, so that was okay. But now that I'm out of the hospital, I still get a bunch of memes from Steve.
Half the time in the hospital,
Steve is the oldest millennial in the world. He gets Steve, you get offended easily because what happens when I pop a 5-hour energy drink? What happens? You get offended by
it's not
everything.
Just me. You just start getting mean and angry at everyone.
I just get honest, man. If honesty hurts, that's on you, man. What do you want me to say?
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go there.
Oh, uh-oh. The good thing is I edit this, so go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah. You want to do, uh-huh.
I was going to say, you know my whole theory on why you're mean to the people you love.
Because my dad didn't love me? Didn't hug me enough?
Didn't hug, exactly. And then that's why he showed love to you by yelling at you, and you're like, that's how I show love to everyone else.
You know, the funny thing is, like you say that, when I had that big giant infection in my foot, and as I was going down the stairs to the garage, my dad's looking at me, and the whole time he's yelling, I told you so, I told you so, you should take care of yourself, I told you so. And then we're in a car for like an hour stuck in traffic, and the whole time, well, not the whole time, until I finally said something, he's just like, I told you, and just like going off, and I go, cool, you won. What did you win? You won the I told you so game. You're the champ. Great. What did you win? Nothing.
Although, look, I will say this, you know, he may say that, but clearly he cares, he loves you a lot.
Well, of course.
Look at the effort he put in.
Who doesn't love me? Let's be realistic. You love me. You fucking call me every day just to hear my voice and then hang up on me.
Well, I call and make sure you're okay.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Well, that too.
Plus, okay, I want to make sure I call you more than Sasha.
Oh, you. Well, you call me at decent hours. Sasha calls me at 2 a.m. And like, stop calling me so late till you text me.
It is a decent hour, though. You're just, that's when he's up and doing stuff.
Yeah, no. What happens is he texts every girl that that's like on his list of like sexting, and if they're all asleep, he texts me. Years ago, this is funny. Years ago, because Sasha's been clean for a while now, so he's been like sober for a long time. But when he was partying a lot in the industry, one time I got a text from him at 5 a.m, and he's all like, "Hey, what are you doing? You want to come over?" And I think he just probably meant to text somebody else. And then next time we were on set, I was actually rolling, and I'm like, not rolling like he was rolling with the camera.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm like, hey, man.
The only time you're really rolling is when you're with Jaden Cole.
That's not really rolling. Just smoking weed. That's it. And eating
eating
gummy bears till the point I can't walk.
It's a really good clip of you and her, by the way. She's just behind you in that corner, like smiling, going, "Oh yeah."
Okay, I'll tell you a funny story about that clip. So about that night. So we were in Colorado, Denver Exotica. I think there was only 2, or maybe that was the only one, and then just kind of went out of business, or at least stopped going to Denver. We have a friend named Joe. in my phone, he's Joe the Jew, because I don't know his last name. Oh,
really?
he's Jewish. He's Jewish. He looks
Yeah.
Jewish, and he's Jewish. Whatever it is, he's a super smart guy because he's Jewish.
They could be Joe the super smart guy.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. But he's probably going to listen to this. So, Joe, just so you know, your name's Joe the Jew in my phone. Anyways, he would always come into town, and he would bring like really strong gummy bears and really good weed. But I don't want to do any of that shit, But only when I'm like with Jane Cole or with somebody else that hasn't watched Reefer Madness and understands the downfalls of smoking the marijuana. So he brought these gummy bears, and so we smoked. What?
I said I know the story.
No, this is a different one.
Oh, really?
It's not the one where
I story with you?
Yeah, no. Every story where I feel like I'm going to die or something's going to happen because I did too much weed, Jaden Cole's involved. So, in fact, I talked to her today, and I'm like, "Would you do my podcast?" And I think she said she's down. So I think the only way to really truly do a podcast with Jaden Cole is I have to get stoned with Jaden Cole, because that's the only proper way of doing it. Anyways, so he brought these gummies, and they really like had me smoking outside. It was snowing. It was really cool. So it was like snowing, and the car that was like in the parking lot was like, blah, like they had the music super loud, and the bass was just booming. And then we go inside, and Joe actually leaves, and Jen goes to sleep in her room, and she gives me a gummy bear. She's like, "This is pretty strong, so just sit down and enjoy the ride." So I ate this gummy bear, and I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden the room starts spinning super fast. So I'm trying to keep up with it. So I'm moving my eyes, I'm holding my head straight, but I'm moving my eyes, and then I decided to swivel my head really fast and then stop. And what happened was, when I swiveled my head back and forth, the room was spinning, and when I stopped moving my head, the room was still moving, but my head was still. So I decided to record myself with a shot like selfie mode, and all you see is me moving my head, then my head is stationary, and you see my eyeballs just like dotting back and forth because it's trying to catch the wall that's still moving in front of me. That was pretty funny. I mean, the other time was we were in Chicago Exotica. God, man, she gets me so stoned I forget where we were, but I think it was Chicago. And this is a funny story. I figured like when I do my podcast, I'm going to be pretty honest to a point that'll probably get me in trouble in the shit I say, which is fine. We were wanted to watch this documentary on Netflix about the KKK. And she said her ex-boyfriend told her this documentary about the KKK is pretty funny. But you have to...
Who told her this?
Her ex-boyfriend, who's Jewish. Okay. Right? And he told her it's funny, but you have to be stoned to watch it. So she's like, hey, let's just eat some gummies or eat a gummy and watch this. But her friends were just hanging out with us, and they got drunk and passed out on her bed. And they fell asleep really weird. The girl was underneath, like on her back, and her boyfriend was on top of her, on his back. It was like the weirdest way they fell asleep. So what I did was I took a picture of them, and I drew in like a bunch of bullet holes in both of them. Like they both got shot in a really weird position. I have it somewhere on my phone. I need to find this fucking picture. It's hilarious. But so she's like, let's just sit down on the floor and watch this thing on my laptop. So we sit down to watch it, and she gives me this big gummy bear, and she goes, just eat a piece of it. And I'm like, fuck you. Look how small it is. Boop, I popped it in my mouth. And then we started getting really thirsty. So we go outside to the vending machine to find the water bottle dispenser. And they were not on our floor. We had to literally go floor by floor till we got all the way down to the bottom and had to buy a bunch of bottles. So we're coming back up, and we're on our floor walking, holding all these bottles of water. And comes towards us Katie Morgan and Evan Stone, who are good friends with Jaden Cole. And I know them, I shot like Katie, I think like 14 years ago. I never shot Evan, but him and I have been always very cordial, and he's very nice. So they're walking past us, and they're like, hey, where'd you guys get the waters? So Jaden's all like, oh, they're not on this floor, and that gummy kicks in. Now, I think I'm funny when I'm stoned or drunk. And in fact, I know I am funny, but it depends what kind of sense of humor you have to listen to my jokes. So I go, oh, well, you have to go all the way to the bottom floor to get the waters because the only waters that are left in this building are sixth floor and up, because we were on the fifth floor. Sixth floor and up. I go, that's where all the white rich people are. And then I go, us poor people, we get treated like black people. They keep us down on the bottom floors with no water. And Jaden looks at me and her jaw drops and she's like, what the fuck did you just say? And I'm thinking, I'm like, haha, I'm being funny. I compared us because we're so oppressed. We're poor people who are oppressed because there's no water on our floor. And Katie and Evan, there was definitely not a smile on their faces. They were just like, what the fuck did this idiot just say? And then they're like, okay, thank you. And they just walked away. And Jane grabs me and brings me in the room and sits me down. She goes, what is wrong with you? I'm like, what? That was like really fun. She's like, that wasn't funny. I'm like, to me it is. Like the room is spinning, everything. We're having a good time. So we sit down to watch this this documentary on the floor, like Indian style, And we were watching on the laptop. All of a sudden, I'm feeling kind of like woozy, right? Because the room starts spinning. So I'm like, I gotta go sit down on the couch. And I try to get up to go sit down on the couch, and I can't. My legs are broken. They literally stopped, waist down. I was like useless. Like I stopped. My legs stopped working. So I can't get up. So what I did was I crawled like a soldier style, just like on my elbows. I just crawled all the way to the couch, grabbed the couch, climbed up to the top of the couch, and just sat there. And she's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, just my legs are not working. I'm not sure what's going on." So she comes over on the couch, puts the laptop on the table so we could watch it. And my eyelids got so fucking heavy. I mean, seriously, I couldn't keep. I wasn't falling asleep, but I just couldn't keep my eyes open. So I took my fingers and popped them open like in a Clockwork Orange. Just I was trying to hold them open and listen to her. And she's talking to me in the documentary, like on the laptop, and all I hear is like, and I'm trying to keep my eyes open. And all I remember saying is, "I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not falling asleep. I'm sorry, but my eyelids are so heavy, I can't keep them open. I don't know what's going on." And I'm freaking out. And then all of a sudden, I had this sensation that I had shit coming up my stomach into my throat, and I'm about to shit out of my mouth. Like literally, not throw up, but shit out of my mouth. So I'm sitting there, and I'm literally counting.
What is wrong with you?
Right? Crazy. So I'm just like, and I go to her and go, I think I have shit that's about to come out of my mouth. She's like, what? I'm all like, yeah, it feels like poop is coming up. Not like barf, but puke. And I'm like, I need to go to the bathroom, because I'm literally thinking I'm going to go shit out of my mouth. And then I get up because my legs kind of work. So I just kind of wobbled my way, more than my usual wobble. I wobbled my way to the bathroom. And man, it was crazy. It didn't come out of my mouth. It came out of the other hole. But luckily I got up, because maybe in my head, everything was upside down. So I was thinking my mouth is my asshole and my asshole is my mouth. I don't know. But that was pretty interesting. So needless to say, though, the documentary wasn't a comedy. It was actually very serious. But
I could have told you that. I've never even seen it, but it sounds like a serious documentary.
Well, what's good about this documentary was that it's done by this Indian lady filmmaker who goes to these KKK rallies and hangs out with these Aryan Nation idiots and talks to them and tries to learn about them. So in the beginning, they're all like, we need to deport everybody who's a different color, bro. You should be deported. By the end of the documentary, she asked them the same question, every single one that she was dealing with. And she goes, would you still deport me? And they're like, no, why would I deport you? You're my friend. And that was the whole point of the documentary. It's like, hey, morons, you should probably get to know the people that you're judging and their families and their culture before you judge them. But, that's just a whole different...
You're dealing with people who joined the clan.
Yeah, but I guess if you're stoned or drunk, that documentary is funny, because you're looking at a bunch of dumb hillbillies who think they're the superior race because they're white, yet they're dumb fucking hillbillies. You're just like, seriously? And by the way, nothing wrong with hillbillies or rednecks, because Spifuro will tell you. Only the racist ones. And that goes for any race, obviously. Because I enjoy me a nice white trash lady, as most of my friends say.
Oh, no, I 100%, and we've had this conversation. If you had a chance to completely give all this up and just grow the beard out even longer, wear flannels, and just go retire to some mountain, you would do that instantly.
Yeah, well, the joke my parents always had, because I always loved bread and milk. That's it, bread and milk. So the joke was always, and since I was a little boy, I would always tell my parents, when I grow up, I want to live on a farm with one cow for the milk, and I'll make my own bread, and I'll just live off that. And still, like, I would totally do that if I could find somebody that wants to make the bread for me.
Totally true.
Yeah,
it's totally true.
100%. You know, and the funny thing is, you know, the whole white trash thing. I was never into like that, but the one day I realized, like, oh my god, this is the kind of woman I really.
And again, I actually do know this story.
You know, this is a good one because I actually share this story with quite a few people. So, the only girl I did in the industry, Cami Andrews, years ago, my goodness, what, 15 years now? 14 years ago, where that was like, you know, our last time we saw each other. She would come in from out of town. She lived in another state. And she was a big sports fan, and she would come into the office and like watch me edit. She was like really cool. She was like really creative and like sports. But I was like, okay, well, yeah, she's a hot girl and whatever. But then one day we went to AM/PM, which is like 7-Eleven, a gas station. So I'm in there buying my stuff. She already bought whatever she was going to buy for herself, and she's outside. I walk outside. And, you know, to some people, you have that moment where you walk into a room and you lock eyes and you fall in love with that person, like love at first sight. This was my moment. And shit you not, it really was. I'm not like bullshitting. So I walk out of the gas station, and she's sitting there on the curb next to my truck. In one hand, she's got a Mountain Dew, and in the other hand, she's got a corn dog, and she's got her beanie pulled down to like her eyebrows. And I looked at her, and I'm just like, holy fuck, I'm in love. How?
Sitting in the corner eating a corn dog.
Corn dog with a Mountain Dew, with a bottle of Mountain Dew. Don't forget that. I actually have this, and I'm gonna put like pictures over and video over this podcast. Right now, I'm gonna post a picture of me and her as she's driving with curlers in her fucking hair, with drinking a big giant Mountain Dew, and I got my beard and I got my Run DMC hat, and that's like the most perfect white trash postcard ever. That's all I have to say. That's it. Did I ever tell you, like, the first time I went to visit her, all the shit she did for me? You want to hear this?
I don't remember.
Okay, so because, like, you know, like my I used to have, like, this blog that won Porn Blog of the Year because I was, like, very honest. I posted, like, videos on there and all that shit. And my first trip to go visit her was on the East Coast. She had every night planned to do something really, really cool. So the first night I was there, we went to fucking watch WWE. It was a house show, so it wasn't like Raw or anything. But we went to watch wrestling, which was amazing. Then the following night, we went to watch the New Jersey Nets play the Pittsburgh Penguins when Sidney Crosby was a rookie. Was it Sidney Crosby? Had to have been. How many years?
New Jersey Devils, you mean?
Yeah, against the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah.
Yes, Sidney Crosby.
Yeah,
so it was his rookie year, and he had like 2 goals and an assist. And we sat on a balcony. It was like at that old arena that they had. So like you were sitting at the balcony, you're looking right over the rink. Really fucking cool. And the funny story is, on the way back from the game, we're driving by this adult shop. So we're like, fuck it, let's go in there and see if they have any of our movies. So we go in there, and this is how funny it is. She was in a movie called Texas Asshole Massacre that I directed and she starred in. And that's the movie that kind of sparked me to go. You know, I got a lot of job offers. Fucking Wicked Pictures offered me a directing job. I got like just some really cool acclaim from reviewers and things like that. It was nominated for Best Comedy. She was nominated for Best Actress. Well, anyways, we go in there, and there's like this little section with all our movies, with Texas Asshole Massacre, and we're like, holy shit, we should go tell the owner, because like we'll fucking come back the next day and like sign some, you know, that would be really cool, and take some pictures with it. Well, as we're looking at him, the dude comes up to us and is so rude, and he's like, we're about to close, so you guys have to leave. I'm like, wow, this dick. Okay, so his loss, because he's got the director and the lead in his store, and he dropped the ball. So if your dumbass is out there, and well, you know, I'm not going to say what city we were in, but anyways, yeah. And then on the final day I was there, guess where we went? Take a wild guess where we went.
You know what? I couldn't even start to where.
Okay, we went to fucking Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
How fucking cool is that, right?
Well, I wouldn't have Canton, so okay, there you go.
Yeah, so we drove to Canton to go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and then yeah, that was fantastic. God, man, I got so many cool pictures there. Holy shit! They have a whole USFL section in there too as well. Did you know that?
I did not. I actually have never been.
Oh, let's see. Maybe you should get yourself a crazy girlfriend that will take you to Canton. See?
After all those stories, I could just go by myself. I'm good.
well, anyways,
I have a friend who actually works right by there, and he's just like, yeah, he goes, I know people who work at the Hall of Fame. He goes, so if you ever want to go, I can totally hook you up. So we actually have a hookup.
Oh, well, there you go. And then the icing on the cake of that trip, on the way back from Canton, we went to fucking White Castle. Seriously, to White Castle.
Which I still have never been to. So
And the funny thing is, that's when the Harold and Kumar Goes to White Castle came out.
Mm-hmm.
So when I did my blog, I took a picture of each of us eating a White Castle burger, and I made a poster for the blog where it says like Cammy and Ivan go to White Castle, and I replaced their pictures with ours. Yeah, man, that was really cool. That was 15 years ago, some shit like that. I don't know, 15, 16 years ago. But yeah, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, I guess I went on this tangent.
No one knows. No one knows.
Yeah, that's the problem is I popped it about 3 hours ago, and it's just really, really kicking in right now. So it's kind of what's going on. By the way, I'm sitting in this room with this wall behind me with like little flowers that are the stickers on the wall. I bought a green screen though, so I'm gonna tape a green screen when it comes in next week behind me, so I could actually put shit behind me while I'm talking, so nobody has to look at my face, even though they probably want to look at my face.
Again, we've already covered that topic.
Yeah, I know. So before we did this today, I texted you and I'm like, write down some ideas to talk about, and you didn't, and I didn't. I texted you a couple of things. What did I text you? Don't mention any fucking names, man, because so far I don't think there's any edits that are needed. So I'm trying to limit my editing because.
Well, that's why I was concerned, because one of the things you texted me, I was like, we kind of can bring it up unless we don't mention the individual's name. Yeah,
for sure. Are we talking about?
When you had your mainstream gig before you got an adult, yeah.
Wait.
When the celebrity. Like,
oh yeah. Oh yeah. We don't have to say his fucking name. But yeah, I was working on a TV show. It was a pilot for a TV show that eventually got picked up.
Hold on. And I'm gonna interrupt you.
Okay, go ahead.
If people are gonna listen, they have to know there are about 3 to 5 stories that you have that I truly love. I think they're hilarious. And anytime we're on set with someone new, I'm always like, hey, you could tell the story, because some like this one are just really entertaining. Others kind of give a hint of how the industry used to be. And you know the stories I love. So let's start with this one.
Okay, yeah, this this is a good one actually. I totally dropped the ball. Well, I guess. I mean, I don't know. If I'd have picked up the ball or the balls, it would have been a lot better.
Yeah, you totally dropped the balls.
The balls, yes. So I was working on this TV show, and it was brand new to working in TV. I came from the film world. My friends got me on the TV show, so I was a video utility guy, which I basically stand there holding the cable, got my headphones on, and listening to what's going on, with the camera crew. And this big-time actor was there to promote his latest release. And every so often, while he's being interviewed, he keeps looking my direction. I'm like, whatever, maybe he's just looking at me or someone behind me, or what, maybe he's just bored with the interview. And then technical director gets on set, and he's like, who's he looking at? Why is he looking off camera? Because they have to keep cutting away from him because he's looking off camera. And my friend Chris, who's a head utility guy, I think he was the head utility guy. No, he wasn't. We had somebody else. But anyways, my friend Chris, who got me on the show, he gets on headset and says, he's checking out Slava. And I'm like, man, these guys are all like busting my balls. I'm new to this. They're trying to fuck with me. Then he keeps looking over. And then the chatter on the camera crew's channel on the headsets is basically, why does he keep looking off camera? And then all of a sudden, half the camera crew's like, he's checking Slava out. And literally, they go to a commercial break. He's looking my direction. And now I'm completely uncomfortable. This is way before I was an adult, where now I'm comfortable with dudes standing next to me jerking off, or like
a little too comfortable.
Yeah, a little too comfortable, you know. In fact, remind me of a Nick Manning story after this, because this is actually really good. We were talking about, too close for comfort. So they came back from commercial break, shooting. He keeps looking my direction. The chatter's still in the headset about he's looking at me, he's checking me out. I'm like, these guys are just busting my balls, man, but this is where it gets really good. So as soon as the camera's cut, shoots over, he beelines straight for me, and he's super tall, and I'm short. So he beelines straight for me and sticks his hand out and introduces himself. And I was like, what? Really? Didn't talk to anybody, but came up to introduce himself to me. Now, I totally dropped the ball, because if I would have pursued this, I could have been like Turtle from Entourage. Remember the show Entourage, where Turtle, the loser hip hop friend that would always hang out with the lead and get to go to all the Laker games and hang out? That could have been me.
He was a driver. He was valuable.
Yeah, well, that could have been me. I could have been the driver, and then we go to let's say the Clipper game, because fuck the Lakers. So let's say we go to the Clipper game, halftime, we're in the suite, couple of minutes, back to the game. But no, I dropped the balls, and didn't go for it. So that's my pretty big celebrity. He's still pretty big. This has been what? If you said his name, everyone would know who he is. Absolutely. Oh yeah. And now he's big, as in he's famous, and he's also a little chunkier. But yeah.
Wouldn't be people's first, second, or third guess as far as food.
Yes, you're right. Oh, something would be funny? If people can try to guess on my YouTube channel or on this podcast, you could just message me and try to guess. And then if somebody actually puts his name down, I will do a podcast where I won't say his name, but I'll read off all the names, and one of them will be it. How's that?
Dangerous territory, but...
Well, no. This is all allegedly. It didn't really happen. And in my head, he hit on me. Maybe he was just being polite. Only to me. The handsome, chubby, furry guy.
If you look uncomfortable being on set, and he just wanted to make you feel better being on set.
There you go. Exactly. He was just being a good guy. Good guy.
Yeah.
Yes. He was trying to be a really good support system, if you know what I mean.
Technically, if you are...
Testicles, you mean?
I'll say, if you're the lead actor or whoever you are, it's always... The really good ones actually will go around and thank the whole crew and everyone, not just thank the producer or director for stuff. That's
how I am, because I'm such a great director. After the shoot's over, even if the girl's got jizz on her face, I'll come up and thank her for a job well done. Please, ma'am, please stick the asshole back up your colon, wipe your face, and thank you for a great shoot today.
No, I'm saying talent should thank the crew.
Talent. Okay, here's talent. So in porn, why do they call talent people in front of camera? Aren't people behind the camera the actual talent? Because they know lighting, they know editing, they know shooting. What are people in front of camera doing? They're fucking. You know who also fucks? Dogs, cats, cockroaches, bats. Everybody fucks. That's not talent, that's nature.
I'm just saying in general, not just adults. I'm just saying sets in general.
I know. But I'm talking about porn right here, Steve.
Okay.
Spiffola. It's about me. The podcast is called King SLivan. King SLivan.
Yeah. You should have made that clear before I went on. Okay,
yes.
Good to know now.
Yes.
Good to know now.
Now, to go back to this, the Nick Manning thing, because I have a bad memory, but I remember to go back to the story. It's actually a pretty funny story. So Nick Manning, who's a big porn star, male porn star in the industry. He hasn't been around for a while, but he was big at one point. He was like he was a chiseled guy, long hair, super tan.
Wasn't he also on Howard Stern and all these things?
Yeah, he has the trademark dropping loads. So his thing is when he's about to come, he would say, "Oh, dropping loads all over your face," and that's a copyright for Nick Manning. I'm not trying to steal it. Anyways. First time I met him, I thought he was gonna be a total douchebag and just big timey, and he wasn't. He's always cool to everybody, super good guy. But when he does scenes, he's super intense, very religious dude, very spiritual. But during the scene, he'll be yelling shit like "fuck you, dirty whore," "stick it in your cunt mouth," really weird shit.
He knows how to perform. knows how to put on the camera.
Yes, exactly. He's a performer. He's an entertainer. But he also breaks furniture. That's like his little claim to fame. Okay, by the way, you hear helicopters here? It's helicopters all day in Hollywood now because the zombies that are running around punching each other in the neck for toilet paper. So we were shooting at Nick's house, and in Nick's backyard, there's like a ton of broken chairs because every time they would shoot at his house, you'd break a piece of furniture and he'd throw it in the backyard. So his backyard was like Nick Manning sex graveyard in the back of just like a bunch of broken couches and furnitures and all kinds of like chairs and shit like that. So we were shooting for Twisties. We were shooting him. I forget who the female talent it was. But Corey, who was the director, I was the camera guy for him. He was there. London Keys was there. A couple of the girls were there watching the scene. So the scene was like he's like fucking this girl in the office, like on the office table. All of a sudden, like he does like an up and over where she's like leaning over the table and he's, you know, like doing doggy style. So Corey's like pointing at me like get underneath. So I'm like, fuck it. So I sit down like Indian style underneath Nick and I'm shooting, right? Because you get this really cool shot up. And as I'm shooting, I'm looking over at Corey and London and the girls, and they have their hand over their mouth and they're like giggling, and I'm like, what the fuck are they laughing about? So I'm sitting there and I'm like crunched out as much as I can. All of a sudden, I feel like little rubbing on top of my head, and I'm like, what the fuck's rubbing on top of my head? And I look over at Corey, London, the girls, and they're like turning fucking purple, holding their mouth shut. And then I realized, fucking Nick Manning, saggy balls were rubbing up against my fucking head. And they were just like, holy shit, man. That was like, and I'm just like, oh my God. But, you know, that's what a real cameraman does. You get the shot. This is like wartime, you know, like I'm in the trenches during battle, making sure I get that shot by any means necessary, and no matter what is shot towards me.
That's a good story.
That's a good one.
That is a very funny story.
Yeah. Fucking Nick Manning's a champ, man. He played semi-pro baseball, well, I don't think they got paid. I think it was like an adult league, but he like led the league in home runs. And the one game we went to watch him play was like the championship game. He didn't get one hit, and he was.
I know. I remember that.
Oh, were you there? You were there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And he got caught between second and third base, just fucking like snoozing and shit. That was the last night of the championship game. We're like, fucking Nick, we came here. I recorded all this stuff to do like a really cool.
He was like this dominating, and he was always like, "When are you guys gonna watch? When are you gonna watch?" We're like, "Okay, we're like leaving the set early. We're coming to watch." Yeah.
Yeah, that was bad. That was one of those things where you're like, oh man, total buzzkill. But do you remember the day he shot with Mia Leilani at our studio on the black leather couch we had? And it was super hot. We have to keep the AC off because it was like one of those like water coolers. What are they called? Like the swamp coolers, right? Is that what it's called? The ones with
those, yeah.
Yeah, so like it would be super loud, so we had to keep it off. And you know, summertime and fucking in the valley is brutal. Let alone with like.
That's actually people don't realize. Shooting in the valley, like shooting in the summer, is really rough.
Yeah.
You can't take the ACs on. Everyone's working super hard, so they're, you know, obviously, and it's like 110 degrees, 112 degrees.
Yeah. So and Nick always sweats already. He called himself cavemanning because he would always sweat and he looked like a caveman. So he's like drenched in sweat, and we take a break. He's like, oh, I need to take a break. I need to go get some water. Okay, cool. See you later, Nick. Then Mia, who is amazing, such a fantastic performer, great fucking person, like on camera, that chick, man, oh my goodness, like talk about
she's just awesome on camera.
Dirty
she's
in the best
really good people.
Yeah, dirty in the best way. So I'm still rolling. I got all this shit on camera. It's crazy. You know what she does? Like when Nick walks away, she gets down on all fours on that couch and starts licking his sweat off the fucking leather couch.
Oh, I don't remember that at all.
You don't. You might have like stepped out, and I'm just like, oh my God, and she's just licking it up and just having a good old time. Like, holy fuck! Like seriously, it's probably on Puba's network somewhere, like on her site. I'm more than positive it is, because like that shit's way too good not to put, you know, on their website. But yeah, she was amazing, and Nick was Was had big saggy balls that rubbed up against my head. Fucking Nick's balls.
So that's why you always try shooting him, because you're hoping that would happen again, right?
Yeah, and always
accidentally. Like, oh my god, it happened again.
I'm like, Nick, always up and over. Always up and over. Hold on, let me take my hat off really quick. Yeah. And sometimes I would try to flip over on my back so I could shoot up at his balls, just in case, and you never know.
Exactly.
I don't know if you were there. I shot him for a squirt movie called Hit Me With Your Best Squirt. And
I don't think so.
So we were shooting, again, it was like super hot. It was in this bathroom. And this fucking girl, like when you're booking a squirting movie, if you're like a legit company, you actually book squirters, not get a chick. Like, just so you people know that watch like squirting movies.
That's a whole other conversation. That's a whole other topic. That's a whole other minute conversation.
Okay, yeah. That'll be next time. But basically, some companies and some chicks fake squirt. Bullshit. That's bullshit. So we only would hire girls that actually squirt. So we hired this girl, and all she says to me was, "Yeah, I squirt." And then she gets to say, she goes, "If you fuck me right, it will squirt." Whoa. That's no. That's not how it works. But okay, fine. So we're in this tiny little bathroom. It's hot. He's sweating. I'm having her scream, dropping squirts, as she's supposed to be squirting, because that's the whole point, and Nick was totally cool with us, like kind of like twisting his trademark a little bit and, having her scream, dropping squirts. He loved the idea because to him, dropping loads was like a gimmick and he loved it and it was funny to him. He didn't take it too seriously until Hot Tub Time Machine used it in their movie and he sued the shit out of them and fucked them for not getting rights from him. So this chick's just not squirting. Nothing. And he's all like, he takes me aside and goes, "Man, I'm doing everything I can." So I go to her, "Can you just like piss? Go drink some water and piss." And she's like, "No." And they just, I'm like, "No, we're not going to keep shooting this in this hot bathroom because his energy's already done. He's sweating. He's already squirted through his fucking skin. Like, just fake it." No, like, please, just like when he's like, like he's inside you and then he pulls out and you just start screaming, dropping squirts, and just start playing with yourself. So you can't tell that you're pissing. That's just like another like hidden secret of pornography, I guess. So okay, fine. And so Nick goes back to the action. She was in Mish on this little ledge on this bathtub. He pulls out. She's like, "Oh, I'm dropping squirts," which is really funny. And she starts playing with herself, and she starts pissing and playing with herself. And shit you not, man. As soon as that quote unquote squirt came out of her, you can smell it in the tiny little bathroom. It smelled like we got all pissed on because the thing was, as she's playing with herself, it's going everywhere. There's no like covering. It's like everywhere, every direction, because she's just like pushing it every direction with her hand. Man, we're in this little bathroom. I'm soaking wet because it's hot. He's soaking wet. At least he's naked, so he could just kind of, dry himself off and put his clothes on. I'm just drenched. Now I'm drenched in sweat. His sweat from like being cavemanning and sweating on me, and now I have her piss all over me. I was like a walking DNA sample that day. Yeah, that was a fun time. Those are the hazards of shooting squirt movies.
People, you need to post a picture of yourself with those goggles you have.
Yeah. I have a great picture of Mason Moore. She used to squirt, if you want to call it that. She used to squirt across the room. So one time I was shooting for Hit Me with Your Best Squirt movie, and I brought goggles to set, and I did like the field goal sign with my hands, and I had her like squirt through the goalpost into my face. That was pretty amazing. That's also the same day that she's all like, "You should fist me" after the scene. I'm like, "Bop."
Again, you're not a good friend. And
that's what she said to me. She's like,
"You're not a good friend."
She's like, "You're not a good friend because you won't fist me. Stick something inside me." I'm like, No. Get dressed and go. No. Stick something. No. And then she started fisting herself. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going to record the whole thing. And this was in Tom Byron's office. So I don't think Tom Byron will ever listen to this, but if he does, Tommy, just so you know, that day where we shot Mason with Justice in your living room, and then she was changing in your office, the sports room, with your really nice Yankees rug. Well, she went and fisted herself on your couch, and then she squirted all over that rug. And I was like freaking out that you were going to walk in and see all this. I recorded it all. I didn't use it in your behind the scenes because I figured once you see it, you're gonna freak the fuck out. So I never used it, but I got it all on tape. Like he's got the tape somewhere. So somebody's got the tapes. I don't have them. Yeah, it was brutal. She was just like fist me.
If Tommy has them, there's no way he's gonna like try to get up and even look for them. He's gonna go like a foot away from him.
Yeah, Tom Byron's a nice guy, but he's lazy as all fucks. Sorry again if he's listening. Yeah. You know, like I was gonna do a section on my podcast called Burning Bridges, and I actually have a really cool logo I'm gonna use for it. So one day I will. Let's just start naming people off. Like one podcast every other so often of someone's name. Fuck them, right? Like, especially when you're your own boss. And even if I'm not my own boss, some of these people I will never see again or give two shits about. So if they deserve to be called out, they should probably be called out. I have my opinion, but you know, maybe I'll think twice later on when like I have coronavirus. Hey, by the way, so today my nose started bleeding. And I was like, oh, fuck, here comes coronavirus, right? So I went on Google to see if that was one of the symptoms. And Google told me I was just bored and I was picking my nose too much.
Yeah, probably.
So that's one of the symptoms of coronavirus is being bored and picking your nose too much, and then you have nosebleeds.
You're constantly bored.
Well, I've been bored for fucking almost 6 months now. Because I've been laying in bed with this leg. So I forgot already. Like next Friday, I go to my doctor to see if the leg's healed enough where I can actually put weight on it and take showers.
Wow.
So I'm looking forward to that. That should be amazing. Hopefully, I don't know. My mom does my wound dressing every day, and the last couple days she's like, "Oh, that hole that you had, it looks like it's closing up." But I'm like, "Oh, well, it shouldn't be closed already. They did skin graft over it. I'm confused. What's going on here?"
It'll take time to heal.
Yeah, maybe you know what it is. Maybe that part, because like I'm afraid to like look at the leg sometimes. I think that part where the hole is, they just sewed it shut, but they didn't put skin graft over it because they just sewed it up. I guess I have no idea. It's gross though. Like I mean, you've seen the video of them pulling the staples out of my leg.
Yeah,
kind of gross. So, anything else do we want to talk about? We've been doing this, dude. We've been doing this for, I'll tell you right now, 47 minutes.
Wow, that's I mean, there's so much more, but I think we're good for today.
Yeah, I think so too. The good thing is there's really nothing to edit out because I'll tell you, like, my hospital ones are going to be so boring because I have no energy because I just got out of surgery. The first one I just did, it's kind of boring because I do a lot of ums and ands and because I'm just like nervous and talking to myself. I had to head out.
Be honest, it's boring because I'm not on it.
Yeah, that's right, Steve. It's your voice, man. Your voice is so soothing and refreshing and gives me all this energy to...
It's not soothing or refreshing, but I'm funny. And I can lead this conversation.
Funny looking.
Doesn't matter, it's still funny.
It's true. That's true. I've been editing Evelyn Inc. stuff the last couple of days, like the interview things and shit like that. It's kind of crazy because like I asked the guy at the office to send me some of her older content to put in the interview. I don't think you've ever seen this stuff where she literally got covered in candle wax, like mouth, eyeballs, her whole head.
You told me.
Yeah, it's like he sent me pictures. I've never seen pictures. I've only seen video of it. Dude, the pictures are crazy. I can't wait to edit these interviews and throw them up on YouTube and like all the social media because that's some intense shit, man. Holy fuck. But anyways, yeah. So that's what I'm working on. That and this podcast. You know what I saw yesterday? I was reading an article about you wouldn't even know because you didn't watch Good Times growing up. Thelma, the actress that played Thelma on Good Times, she was super hot on the show. Holy mother of God, she was hot. And I just saw pictures of her and recent pictures, and they're like, what, 40 years? She's like 40, it's like been 35 years? 75, 25. Oh my God, it's fucking 2020 already. So 45 years ago. So she's 45 years older, and I'm like, that's her grandma. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, that's right. That's her. 45 years older. But...
Didn't someone just pass away, like the lady that
played Janet Dubois, who played Willona. Man, and I watch Good Times, because like I'm stuck in this room, I watch Good Times every night on, was it Pop? I think it's Pop. And not every night, they do like one night Sanford and Son for like 6 hours, and then they do Good Times for like 6 hours. So I have Good Times the whole series on DVD, and I've watched every episode. But now I'm watching them again because it's so fucking good, and every episode's got such a really cool lesson, to fucking for white people to learn, how to be a brother in this country.
You know what?
I would know
that's
that.
a whole different podcast that we should do about old school TV.
Yes, shit we grew up on. What are your 3 shows that you grew up on, Steve?
We're gonna see that for the next show.
Just tell me what they are, and then we can talk about them later.
They're gonna be total white shows. Chips.
You're white.
Totally white shows. Chips. Three's Company. What was the other ones that are really good? Chips, Three's Company. I'm trying to remember. I mean, that's the thing. I would watch Good Times at Jefferson's, but I think I watched a lot more Chips and Three. Yeah, I think those are the ones. And Brady Bunch, obviously. Yeah,
same here. Brady Bunch, Three's Company, What's Happening, Different Strokes, and Good Times.
Yeah, different strokes. But again, I keep throwing Chips in there because Chips was totally, back then, you're like, oh my god, yeah.
One last story, and that's it. We're fucking done. One last story, because I'm going to forget about this one. So, okay, when I played Little League basketball and baseball, I played, I was 12, 13, whatever years old. On my team was Shavar Ross, who played Dudley on Different Strokes.
Okay.
And he was the best athlete on the team. Great athlete, a little arrogant, but cool. And when there was this 2-part episode on Different Strokes about child molestation.
I remember that one.
Yeah, I remember the bicycle episode, the bicycle shop episode.
Yeah. The bicycle store, yeah.
So this old white dude, creepy white man, he befriends Arnold, who's Gary Coleman, obviously, and Shavar Ross, who's the Dudley character. And, and they become friends with him. They don't know any better. And then all of a sudden, the old man's like, hey, I have this camera. We should take some pictures. Now, Arnold is like, no, I'm not interested. And he takes off. Well, Dudley sticks around. And, it gets pretty crazy because there's Dudley takes off his shirt. The man starts taking pictures of him.
Again, for the time period and,
Yeah, back then shows were more, had more heart. And they actually had the balls to cover topics that are kind of scary and taboo. And,
well, they did.
Yeah.
And kind of surprising that they made it into a bicycle shop, not a church.
Yeah, shit, maybe that was hitting a little too close to home. So it was a 2-part episode where Dudley gets molested by this bicycle shop. I don't know if he actually got molested or they were leading up to it.
Well, they didn't go that deep into the.
Yeah, there was no hardcore shots or anything, no reverse cowboy, none of that kind of stuff. But when he came back to play and when the episode aired, all of us were like, hey, Shavar, you want to come play with my bicycle? We're kids. We don't fucking know any better. To us, we're like, ha, look what... We don't know any better. But then, the following year, he was in Friday the 13th where he actually kills Jason. I forget which Friday the 13th it was, but it was the one where it was fake Jason. It was the guy who's trying to be a copycat killer, and Shavar kills him. His character kills him in one of the Friday the 13th. So... he went from almost getting molested by this old white creepy dude at a bike shop to killing Jason Voorhees. Anyways, fast forward years later, I'm in porn now. I'm doing my blog on livejournal.com. All the old motherfuckers know what LiveJournal is. Before social media, before YouTube, before MySpace, there was LiveJournal. You did your blogs on LiveJournal. And I get this message from Shavar. And he's like, Slava, which is my real name. What's up, man? I see you're doing great. I'm like, wait, how did he find my blog, first of all? And how did he know it was me? So, hey, what's up, Shavar? How's it going? What's going on? What's new? You're doing good. Because he was on the show Family Matters. He was playing Urkel's best friend, and I think he wound up directing some episodes. Shavar started directing television. As a filmmaker, that's besides directing films, directing TV, are you serious? That's you aspire for that, not directing girls taking 2 dicks in their ass. So,
especially becoming an actor and then...
Yeah, right? And a child actor that actually turned out well, and not hanging out with the fucking 2 Coreys.
Well, again, in that time period with all the other child actors that did not turn out well.
Right. Look at poor Gary Coleman. Man, that dude turned out...
He was with all those guys. He was with all those people.
Yeah, and so I'm like, what's up, and we kind of shared a few little stories, and he goes to me, remember when we played baseball at Poncedia Park. We play. All my Little League stuff was at Poncedia Park here, the local park. And remember we played? I forget what team we played on the Tigers. Do you have the team picture? I'm like, I don't know. I need to go look for it. Why? Because we had another person on that team that kind of turned out well. Who? Ethan Hawke.
Really?
Yeah. Crazy, right? You're like, wait. I'm like, what, you mean like we're like the Three Musketeers, man? All of us made it big time, especially me. You know, like I'm directing like Double Anal. I bet those guys have never seen Double Anal in person.
I'm better that you guys have a chance they have in person.
Oh yeah, they probably have. They're celebrities. But yeah, Ethan Hawke. I was like, holy shit! I couldn't find the team photo, but supposedly Ethan Hawke was on our team.
Well, that's very cool.
But yeah, and I'm just like fucking Shavar, you know, like I followed him on Twitter, and I'll message him like, you know, once every couple of years just to see what's going on, and we haven't spoken in years, but yeah, that was really cool. I'm like, damn man, I wonder if Ethan Hawke is somewhere going, God, I wish I could find my Little League picture because fucking Ivan was on my team. Do you think Ethan Hawke's doing that? Sorry, not Ethan Hawke.
I guarantee
Ethan.
he's on set going, you guys are never going to believe who I played Little League with.
Exactly. No, because if he's on set with the actor that hit on me, boom, full circle of life. And the guy would have been like, I can't believe that guy was almost my turtle.
That is a great way to end it.
I wonder if those guys ever were in a movie together. I need to go check IMDb. I'm gonna Google it.
That is like one of the best ways to end this whole thing.
Shit. I dropped the balls. Motherfucker.
Oh yeah, you did.
All right, Spifotola. This was actually good. This was entertaining.